Everything you're going through is God preparing you for what you asked for. If it's a man, the lack of man is preparing you for one. I'll tell you a true story, man. I knew this girl who was a friend of mine. Uh, she was dating this married guy. I said, how can you possibly think God is going to send you the right guy? Why are you dating this married dude? How you think this works? But they went to the same restaurant, had the same booth for 2 years. They met every week. It's kind of like, remember Billy Paul's old song, Me and Mrs. Jones. We meet every day at the same cafe, 6:30, because I know she'll be there. That was a song. Well, this woman dated this man for 2 years. They went to the same restaurant. He knew the maitre d'. The maitre d' kept the table for him. Maitre d' watched this go on for 2 years. He kind of knew the guy. He wasn't cool, just gave him the right table. 2 years. Just kept on dating this dude. She asked me, she said, Steve, why are you saying God won't send me Mr. Right? I said, well, I'm going to tell you something my mother taught me. I got this little job, right? And I used to come in the house. Every time I got paid, I was saving a little bit so I could get me a new car. And I would tell my mother, who was a Sunday school teacher, I would say, hey, mama, I'm going to give me a new car. She said, yeah, I know, boy, but your old car is out in the backyard up on the blocks. I had this old car that's set up on these cylinder blocks in the driveway in the backyard. And leaves had got up under it and paper cups and oil stains where I tried fixing. I just never could get it to working. I used to try to work on cars and stuff, but just wasn't. It was just an old car. So I get paid again. I said, Mama, I'm going to get me a new car. She said, I know, boy, but your old car outside on blocks. I don't understand this. What does she keep talking about this old car for? I'm coming in here trying to be positive because I had read this book called The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale and think positive. So one day, about 6 times, I came in and I said, Mama, I'm going to give me a new car, I'm telling you. She said, I know, baby, but your old car outside on the blocks. So I knew my mama was trying to teach me something because that's how they ever did me. Because that's how I do my sons. They made me a thinking man. They would never tell me nothing direct. They would just throw it out there. So I said, Mama, how come every time I get paid, I try to come in here and say something positive to you about me getting a new car, and you keep telling me about my old car out on the blocks? She said, son, you ain't got nowhere to put no new car. I called a friend of mine up. He had a tow service. I said, man, $20, I need some help. He came and towed the car away from me. I took all them cylinder blocks down, took all that trash that had gathered up on it, bundled it up, went down to Giant Tiger and bought some little asphalt cleaner and put it down and scrubbed that oil up, made that driveway look new. All of a sudden, the driveway looked new. It was a lot of space in the yard and everything. 2 weeks later, I got a new car. It wasn't new, it was used, but I bought a car. And I pulled it up in the driveway. I said, Mama, look at that. I got the car. She said, because you got somewhere to put it. She said, son, you can't ask God for something and then don't make ready to receive it. So I told that to this girl. She started crying. She said, oh my God. She said, I ain't ready to receive it. I said, no. You can ask him for it, but until you're ready to receive it, why would he give it to you? Because you ain't going to do nothing but mess it up. She stopped seeing the married guy. So she stopped going to the restaurant. One day, the maitre d' sees her out somewhere. He approached the girl and said, I haven't seen you in a while. She said, yeah, I broke up with my friend. He said, wow, I've been waiting. She said, excuse me? He said, I've been waiting. He said, I've been watching you come here for 2 years. The most beautiful woman I've ever seen. I could not understand why you was with this guy. 1.5 years later, them two people got married. Them two people have 2 kids now. He ain't the maitre d' of the restaurant no more. He bought the restaurant. because the girl was a financial chick at a bank, so she was the missing piece for him. So instead of being the maitre d', he bought the restaurant. They now own 3 restaurants. This dude making almost $2 million a year off of 3 restaurants. They living their life. You know why? Because she took the old car down off the blocks. So ladies, I ain't saying this about you, but maybe you got an old car in your driveway up on blocks. You really want a new car, but maybe it ain't nowhere for the new car to come. Could it be? Maybe God waiting on you to get the old car towed out so you can clean up your yard and he can park a new car there. Could that be the situation with your relationship, or could it be with anything else you want? If I was you, I'd try that. I hope y'all had a good time. Thank y'all for coming. Last year I spoke at the SALT convention. The SALT convention is where billionaires from around the world gather. They gather in Vegas once a year to talk about how they're going to change the world. It's a couple hundred billionaires in this world. They all come to Las Vegas once a year to SALT convention. I was asked last year to be the keynote speaker. And I'm tripping because I'm not a billionaire. And I asked a guy who asked me to do it, I said, I'm not a billionaire. You do understand that. We said, Mr. Harvey, we know everything about you. We know your net worth and everything. I said, well, what can you all learn from me? He said, everything. He said, the reason we want to hear your story is because the majority of us that are billionaires, we inherited some money and we grew it. A couple of us inherited $1 billion, we automatically. Some of us inherited 300 million and we turned it into $1 billion. You come from nothing. What we want to know is how you got to where you are after coming from nothing. How did you live in a car for 3 years and wind up on more TV shows than anybody? How did you survive flunking out of school? How did you survive all of that? We want to know that, because in case something happens to us, we don't really have the information that you have, or how to come from the back to the front, or how to come from the bottom to the top. So I get asked oftentimes to speak. What I told them was really compelling, because they almost had to never hear it, because they never had to learn it. See, if you've never been in the bottom, there's some stuff you ain't never had to know. But all of you that have been in the bottom, you know it oh too well, don't you? And so when I was telling them how I made it, I was telling them about the fortitude that I developed. And then I told them about the faith that I had. And that was really startling to them. Now, a lot of them are people of faith, but a lot of people who were born with a lot of money ain't really had to have a lot of faith. You understand? You have an idea of what it feels like. You've seen some kids get put in foster care. You've seen child protective services come to somebody's house. You've seen kids come to school with less. You might have been one of the kids that went to school with less. You have struggled to give your kids a better life than the one you had. They don't hear this. But I'm going to tell you something right now. You can be successful without an education. You can be successful without coming from a rich family. You can be successful. I don't care what color you are, what faith you belong to, your sexual preference. I don't care what's wrong with you. You can be successful. I'm going to tell you flat out, you have got to tie your existence to your creator. If you don't tie who you are to God, I got news for you. You're going to forever struggle. Now, this is what I'm telling you is something you can do today. You ain't got to go to school to get this one. You ain't got to have no meeting with nobody. I'm telling you that if you solidify a relationship with God, you ain't got to ask nobody's permission. You ain't got to check in. He ain't got no line. You can go and form this relationship today, this evening, when you get home. Listen, man, you can shortcut this. I ain't got no education. I flunked out of school. I'm on my third marriage. I lost everything I ever owned twice. I had a severe stuttering problem growing up. I've been picked and teased my whole life. I've been homeless and lived in a car for 3 years. What you finna tell me that I don't know about him? I will tell you what God can do. He can do anything. God can pick you up when you're at your lowest moment. God can take your existence and turn it around. Now listen to me, I ain't no preacher. I'm a street cat. You understand? I'm not a good Christian. I'm a Christian, you know, but I'm at best, I'm an entry-level Christian. I don't do advanced Christianity. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably like a 2. But I got news for you. That's all you got to be. Because you know why? Because there's none perfect, no, not one. There are no perfect people. Let me teach you something. How many of you have a dog? How many of you have ever had a dog that had a flea on him? That's everybody. You ever seen a flea? One of the smallest insects. Really small. One of the smallest insects. But for his height and size, and flea has the highest vertical leap in nature for an insect. A flea can jump, has a 36-inch vertical. A flea, man, can come 36 inches off the ground. His vertical is 36. The average person can't do that. But a flea can jump 36 inches off the ground. If you capture the flea and you put him in a mayonnaise jar and you put the lid on it, the flea know one thing. I got a 36-inch vertical. So here he go. He start jumping, but he gonna hit himself on that lid because he got that lid on it. But after a while, after getting knocked down so many times, the flea makes an adjustment. So now the flea only jumps just to where he don't get knocked back down. He got 36 vertical, but since this lid is on, his environment got him now jumping nowhere near what he can. Capture some more fleas and put them in there. They got 36 verticals, but then they start jumping. They find out they keep getting knocked down. They start doing what the other fleas is doing. Next thing you know, I got a jar full of fleas in there, ain't even using a 36-inch vertical because they got a lid on the jar. Them fleas have babies. Them babies is born into the conditions of the environment. So now guess what? The flea is born with a 36-inch vertical, but because he see his mama and daddy and all his cousins and friends jumping just barely to the roof, you know what he do? He duplicates that behavior. The flea never reaches his potential until you take the top off of your mayonnaise jar. You're going to duplicate your surroundings. If you take an oak tree seed and you put it in a 2-foot pot, that seed will never become the oak tree that oak trees are capable of becoming because it's going to get stifled by the 2-foot pot. Now check this out. Ain't nothing wrong with the seed. The seed just fell prey to the environment. You are a seed from God. God made you in his likeness. He big, he vast. Don't you allow your environment to dictate the oak tree that you become. Because ain't nothing wrong with your seed. All of y'all got this wonderful gift that he gave you at birth. All y'all got one. You better believe that now. Don't die with this gift and don't never use it. All of y'all got this wonderful gift, but you got to use it. Take your seed, take your gift. Get away from these people that's in your life that ain't doing nothing. Get away from people in your life that's hating. Get away from your family members that ain't ever opened a business. Get away from your family members that ain't ever followed their dream. Get away from your family members ain't never been nowhere but to the family reunion. Ain't never been to a beach. Get away from them. Get away from them. I had to do it. When I told everybody I was getting into comedy, man, Oh, Lord have mercy. You can't get into comedy. You ain't even funny. How you gonna make money telling jokes? Now, in the beginning, it looked like they was right, but I never gave up. All I did was identify this gift. I worked. I wrote all of my visions down. I read them every morning and every night. I instilled them in my head. And every time I met somebody, they say, hey, man, what you trying to do? I would tell them one of my visions. Somebody would always say to me, you know, I know a guy that's selling them things right there. You ought to talk to him. I started scratching stuff off my vision board. My vision board is so vast now. If I showed you what was on it, you wouldn't even believe it. Because I dream so big. I want so big because the God I serve is big. He's not a small God. He's a really, really big God. He does really, really big stuff. And I expect him to do really, really big stuff for me. If he'd have done it for Oprah, if he'd have done it for the Obamas, whoever got, why I can't have this here? I'm going to do better with it than all of them. To me, but why you can't have that? That's how you get what you want in life now. You don't have to believe me, but here's the deal. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. If I just told you a different way to go about it, you don't need no money. I just gave you some scriptures you could try and some principles. If somebody who had come from the bottom and got to this position I'm in told me that this is the way I would try it, if I was you, I would try that. I bet you it'll work, though. Appreciate y'all. I take all my moments in life, good and bad, and I use them as teaching moments because that's exactly what they all are. If you get really smart, everything that happens to you, you should make a note of it because everything happens to you for a specific reason. There are no just haps in life. Every dark moment that you've ever had is preparing you for someplace God is taking you. That way you got it, you can start feeling a little bit better. Somebody taught this to me a long time ago. He said, Steve, in order to get to the life of your dreams, you're going to have to learn how to get comfortable being uncomfortable. When you hear people say all the time, I don't want to do nothing that I'm not comfortable with, this person's in trouble. Because whatever your comfort zone is, if you stay in your comfort zone, that's where you'll fail. If your comfort zone is this big and you stay in your comfort zone, that's where you'll fail. In order to succeed in life, you have to step outside of your comfort zone. But I want to tell you something about yourself. All of you are equipped to live outside of your comfort zone. God has proven it to you your entire life. I'm going to show you something that he's done for you that you haven't really paid a lot of attention to. See, a lot of people are afraid to jump. A lot of people are afraid to take chances. A lot of people are afraid to put things up for risk. And you shouldn't be. Now, you can be afraid, but you should learn how to go ahead anyhow. See, because let me show you something about yourself. For all the bad days you've ever had, for every day that you thought you wasn't going to get through, for every period in your life you did not see no way you could come out on the other side, your track record for surviving them bad days is 100%. You have survived every single one of them. Your track record for surviving bad days, y'all, is 100%. And that's pretty good. You can't name one bad day you ain't got through. When you lost your mother and you felt like your whole world was crumbling, because I thought I was going to die, man. When my mama left here, boy, let me tell you, that's the worst I've ever felt in my life to date. I'm 62 years old. But the day they told me my mama was gone, when I had to pull the plug on that machine, and I had to tell that to the doctor, it was the worst period of my life. I thought I was gonna die. I survived it. I want you to think about all them bad moments you had that looked like you wasn't gonna make it. And then I want you to ask yourself, well, why did I make it? Well, it's real simple now. It's simply because God ain't through with you yet. Everything you're going through is God preparing you for what he has for you.
Have you ever been denied something so long that you got used to not having it? Have you ever been alone so long that you stopped being lonely? Have you ever been in a crisis so long that it became your norm? When the Lord turned again our captivity, it was like a dream. And the Holy Spirit told me to tell you, you're going to dream again. When I get to bringing you out, you're going to be scared to believe it. It's going to seem like it's somebody else. When I open up a door for you, it's going to blow your mind. When I set you free, you're going to say, is that me? I don't know what to think about it. Is this my house? Could this be my job? Could this be my husband? Is that my wife? You mean you would do that for me? God said, I'm going to bless you so you won't have to pinch yourself. God said, I'll blow your mind. I'll cause you to prosper. The contract will close. The property will sell. The door will open.
Now, before I start anything I got to say, no matter what you hear me say, no matter what piece of information I lay out in front of you, please tag that with cause of God. I've accomplished so much, but it's cause of God, though. My life is covered with grace and favor. You know, Bishop Jakes told me one time, when you got favor on your life, no matter what you're thrown into, you're going to always rise to the top. All of this that I have is really because of the grace of God. Now, I'm going to tell you something. If you could get a couple of things from me, if you could gather this piece of information. Now, I want you to get this now. Imagination is everything. It's the preview to life's coming attraction. Your real life, the one God really got for you, is in your imagination. It is not in your current situation or your current paycheck. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. All that means is in the beginning, you just hope something pop off. I was hoping I would get on TV. When I wrote it on the paper, it wasn't factual. It was just hope. You just got to start with the hope. Then what happened is through grace and favor, he give you a couple of them things you hope for, and then you're supposed to start believing then. Your imagination is actually God showing you a preview of a coming attraction that he has for you. The moment you don't believe in your imagination, you negate what he got for you. God don't give you what you want. He give you what you believe.
Believe you can get what you want like a child. Make plans like an adult and believe in them like a child. Just try it.
Your problem is you keep telling your imagination to the wrong people. How many times, man, have you had a tremendous idea and you went and told it to your loved ones and your so-called friends, and they shot it down? You let them talk you out of what God got for you. Your real life is in your imagination. I'm just a real dude. I don't even have the education you all have. I flunked out of school. What I'm sharing with you is stuff that everybody can apply today. See, if you think you're too old to make it, let me give you a prime example. Colonel Sanders has been frying chicken his whole life. Colonel Sanders didn't get a franchise till he was in his 60s. As long as God waking you up in the morning, that's the sign that he ain't through with you.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what you desire. I don't know what you've been envisioning in your spirit, that if you believe God, all things are possible unto you. A lot of people, their problem is they don't want it. Have decided that your life is over and that if it was going to happen, it would have happened by now. But you don't want anything. When you want something, you got to go for yourself, even if the person next to you does not.
Man, you know what I'm asking God for right now? And I'm 60. Ain't nothing wrong with wanting something. God got a big life for you. The smallest scripture I ever read changed my life. You have not because you ask not. Do you know the difference that could make in your life?
Asking starts a unique process. I don't even know how it works. All I know is it works.
He says, when you pray, you want to pray for what you desire.
When the last time you really asked him for something? Or do you keep making requests that's inside the confines of your paycheck? Didn't I just tell you God ain't in your paycheck? Didn't I just tell you he ain't in your job title?
Don't ask God to help you function better in your dysfunction. Ask him for your dreams. Ask for things that even seem impossible. That's not just being hopeful, just being positive. That's your faith being released. Take the limits off of God.
I do not live my life in the confines of what anybody says to me. So now, if you have not because you ask not, do you understand if you up your ask, he has to up his give? You can start this today and change your whole game because you're going to need grace and favor anyway. But you got to ask for something. Quit asking God for little bitty stuff. Lord, help me make my rent. You up your ask, he up his give. This ain't a magic trick, man. I have asked God for some tremendous stuff. Everything he hasn't given to me is on the way. I have no doubt about it.
Believe you receive it. I got it right now. I receive it in my spirit. I'm walking in it. I'm laying out plans. I'm picking out stuff, getting ready. I received it in my spirit, and I'm going to have it in my life. Believe this will change your life. Somebody just shout, I believe. Believe you received it, and you should have it. If you have to force yourself to believe it, then maybe you should realize that just because you desire it doesn't mean you should have it. Think of the things that you forced your way into, and then you had to cry your way out of. You got what you wanted, but you didn't want what you got. He is saying you receive it in your spirit before you receive it in your life.
What I found is God's plan has always been better than my plan. One day, when you see what God was up to, you'll thank him for not answering those prayers. If it's supposed to be yours, you can rest assured nobody else will get it.
You cannot have prosperity in the natural until you receive it in your spirit. The reason some of you are broke is that you have a broke spirit. It comes in your spirit before it comes in your life.
You got to have a tremendous work ethic to be successful in here. It's going to be a lot of trying times. So you have to have a tremendous work ethic. Faith without works is dead.
Lord, I thank you for passion. I thank you, Lord, that I never went through anything that got so bad that it took my fight away. I cried, but I didn't quit.
Don't seek the blessing, seek God. Keep him first place, and the blessing will seek you.
Are there any God seekers left? I see the money seekers, but are there any God seekers left? And say, all I want is you. I've enjoyed convincing you that you're nothing, you're never going to be nothing, you came from nothing, and you'll never get out. You'll never be loved, you'll never be happy, you'll never be blessed, you'll never be free, you'll never get yourself together, you will never be nothing. I've enjoyed attacking him. As long as you stay over there and this stays over here, everything will be all right. But the moment you try to break away from where you came from and take over new territory, that's when all hell breaks loose in your life. What you fighting didn't start with you. Go back in your family. That devil's been in that territory for a long time. He doesn't want to leave the region. That devil isn't interested in you. He's interested in your territory. He's interested in your region. He's after your turf. He's after your stuff. There's something that you have that he wants, and he doesn't care about you. He says, I can use her. I can use a pig. I can use a goat. I can use a dog. I can use her sister. I can use his brother. I can use somebody close to them. It sounds like somebody else in here has some lying voices whispering in your ear, telling you what you can't do and what you can't be and what you can't have. And if you don't do it with me, it can't be done. The devil is a lie. You need to abort every voice that says you can't do it, you can't have it, you can't be it, you'll never get up, you'll never survive. The devil is a lie. Abort that thing. Push it out. Oh, it ain't gonna be no Holyfield fight dancing around. Oh no, I'm gonna fight you. I'm gonna kick you in your eye. I'll fight like a wild animal. I didn't come this far to let you take my stuff. You have accepted some things as normal and adjusted your way of life to accommodate something that was never meant to be. If you don't possess what's yours, the enemy will possess your land. See, when you start running from one thing, you're going to keep running from everything. That's why you need to stop running and face whatever you got to face and deal with whatever you got to deal with. Because if you run from Pharaoh, you're going to run from the serpent. You're going to run from love. You're going to run from life. You're going to run from responsibility. You're going to run. When are you going to stop running? This is a marching legion of enemies that are coming against you to bring you down. You think I'm going to roll over and play dead while you take over my stuff? The devil is a lie. I will fight you. I don't need no fancy fight. I mean, I'll claw and kick and scratch and bite your nose. I'll fight you. When he got through messing with your daddy, now he's going to mess with you. When he got through messing up your sister, now he's after you. But I came to serve notice on the devil today. It stops right here. I'm going to fight for the territory. Somebody who's in a fight, give God a praise right now. And as long as you were a spectator, the devil was all right with that. But the moment you start raising your head and worshiping God, all hell breaks loose. Do you hear what I'm saying? Do you hear what I'm saying to you? You got to hear this. You mean you just gonna sit there and let the enemy take your stuff? You don't recognize you're in a fight. See, because most church people don't know that they're in a fight. They've been saved, but their mentality is so carnal that they just think stuff happens. Nothing just happens. Everything came from somewhere. Everything had a genesis. Everything had a beginning. It didn't just happen. That thing was sent against you. It was set against you. I don't care what the doctor says, what the nurse says, what the bookkeeper says. I don't care what you read in the Wall Street Journal about the economy. The devil is a lie. That spirit was sent. And you sitting up there with your dressed up self, acting like, well, then whatever happens, happens. The devil is a lie. The devil is a lie. You have accepted some things as normal and adjusted your way of life to accommodate something that was never meant to be. You mean you just gonna sit there and let the enemy take your stuff, take your life, take your family, take your son, take your daughter, take your grandkids? You're just gonna lay back and let him have your job, have your influence, have your business? You just gonna hand it over without a fight? You're not going to fight at nothing. You're not going to do spiritual warfare. You're not going to fight in the spirit. You're not going to go into the end. You're just going to let him have your territory. You better fight for your territory. I don't care what it is, your legs, your arms, your toes, your kids, your company, your finances. I don't care what it is. You got to fight for your territory. You have to fight to keep your eyesight. You have to fight to keep your energy. You have to fight to keep your movement. I mean, you have to fight for stuff that you used to take for granted. Like, God, do you hear what I'm saying to you? I say, I will fight. Don't you think for 1 minute that I won't fight. Don't you think I won't fight. Just because I'm 12 don't mean I won't fight. David was a boy when he killed Goliath. Don't let the fat fool you. I'm fat, but I'll fight. I'm gray-headed, but I'll fight. I'm a woman, but I'll fight. I'm an old man, but I'll fight you right now. Oh my God, I mean, I'll fight you right now.
You will fail at some point in your life. Accept it. You will lose. You will embarrass yourself. You will suck at something.
If you're willing to decide what you want, believe it's possible, consciously envision the future, feel the feelings of what it would feel like if you had achieved this goal, you can have anything, and then you take action, both obvious actions and inspired action. You can do anything.
You'll get scared sometimes. Your mind will go blank on you. Some people you will allow to unnerve you. And you wonder, what's wrong with me? I'm not crazy. That's why you've got to learn to make a conscious, deliberate, determined effort to stand up inside yourself. Working on yourself, watching that inner dialogue, it will determine the quality of your life. Next thing is that you've got to activate the thinker in you. Don't allow your emotions to control you. We are emotional, but you want to begin to discipline your emotion. If you don't discipline and contain your emotions, they will use you.
You know, have what you want. It is so painful to sit there and know that you didn't get what you wanted.
If you're going to be successful in creating the life of your dreams, you have to believe that you are capable of making it happen. You have to believe that you have the right stuff and that you're able to pull it off. And whether you call it self-esteem, self-confidence, or self-assurance, it's a deep-seated belief that you have what it takes, the abilities, the inner resources, the talents, and the skills to create your desired results.
What changes people is when your should becomes a must. When suddenly the thing you said should happen has to happen. That's when human beings change.
The only thing you really have in your life is time. And if you invest that time in yourself to have great experiences that are going to enrich you, then you can't possibly.
Focus on one thing. Make it your priority and stick with it no matter what.
You want to know how to decide if a career opportunity is a good one. There are several things you have to take into consideration. Number one, does it make your heart sing? The number one feedback system that you were given at birth is joy. If you're not experiencing joy as you think about doing something and as you pursue doing it, then it's off course for you.
Accept where you are and the responsibility that you're going to take yourself where you want to go. Someone said we have two primary choices in life. We can either accept conditions as they exist, or we can take the responsibility to change them. See, a lot of people want to exempt themselves from taking responsibility. All they want to do is talk about the problem. Every time you see them, they'll tell you their story over and over and over and over again.
But the real truth is that there's only one person responsible for the quality of your life, and that person is you.
All of us experience pain. My challenge, don't just go through it, grow through it. That difficulty is an opportunity to get stronger, to develop character, to gain new confidence. Anybody can give up. Anybody can let it overwhelm you. But you know what that's doing? wasting your pain. That pain is not there to stop you. It's there to prepare you, to increase you, to develop you.
You can't get to the next level because every time somebody draws something in front of your face, you give up. Don't you know you more attractive when you can say no, when they know you got values?
I found that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks. There is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that's less than the one you're capable of living.
But we're so stuck in this comfort zone, and the comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there. We're so stuck where it's convenient. We're so stuck in this ritual where it feels good. And so when God tries to shake us up a little bit, the problem always happens before the miracle. The lessons always come before the blessings. And so when it's time to learn the lessons, meaning when you go through something, you're going to learn some lessons, but it's not always easy to extract lessons from a bad situation.
Get out of your damn bed, get off your phone, get out of the soft and addictive comfort zone, and you need to go out there into the world and get after it.
Success doesn't always have to be loud. Sometimes it's necessary to be quiet.
Somewhere along the line, you lost your footing, you lost your place. It got cold. Too cold for you. And see, one thing about an achiever is rain, sleet, or snow, they keep building.
Do what is required to manifest it into reality. If you can see it in your head, you can hold it in your hand. Stop telling everybody what you're going to do. Stop telling everybody what your next move is and just disappear and do the work that is required.
Success is a process. The process comes before success. The struggle comes before the process. Are you really prepared to grind it out? Not everyone needs to understand your true motives. Not everyone needs to understand your purpose. Not everyone needs to understand your mission. But the truth is, it's about passion. It's about discipline. It's about awareness. It's about accountability. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, you got to be accountable for your actions. But are you prepared to grind it out? Are you prepared to dig a little bit deeper? Are you prepared to fight a little bit harder? Are you prepared to put in overtime?
Everybody wants public authority, but nobody wants private discipline. When your habits change behind the scenes, when your private life begins to shift, when you put aside the things that are not serving you, if it's going to be personal, make it personal. Don't just be great in public, be great in private.
Until you understand what struggle means, you can never quit.
But you gotta work hard in silence.
This is what we call grinding in silence.
What steps are you taking to become and to live the life, to make the dream a reality? You want to be committed? You want to be consistent? You want to be creative? You want to be purposeful? You want to be reflective? And you want to be grateful? These are just a few things that you want to be as you are moving forward in your self-awareness.
Now it's time to grind. Now it's time to fight. Now it's time to believe. Now it's time to know that your success story has yet to be told.
I have worked while you have slept. I have learned while you have partied. I have saved while you have spent. And I will live like you dreamed. I have what it takes to get to the top of that hill.
You want success? Then go get it. You want to be better? Then be better. You want something more than what you have right now? then you got to have the desire within your heart and go strong and go with everything you have. You have unfinished business. You got work to do. You have to disappear and put the work in and come back and shock everybody that doubted you. Can you hide yourself in the library? Can you hide yourself in the gym? Can you hide yourself in the boardroom and plan and caucus and do what is required behind the scenes in order to manifest the moment? I'm talking to that person that is acquainted with pain. I'm talking to that person that knows what it's like to come from nothing. And so you literally have nothing to lose. And the only thing that's in your hand is a dream.
What are you going to do with the rest of your life? I had to start taking some of my own advice. I had been telling people, I had written about it for a very long time, that if you're doing something that you're not totally committed to, if you're doing something that you're not totally passionate about, you're compromising yourself every day.
It's in my head 24/7. There's nothing else I can think. I don't think about nothing else. And that's it. I'm just curiously fascinated with it, and I can't stop thinking about it. Everything I do in my life is related to this. I don't do nothing else if it's not got to do with fighting.
Think big, because then you're going to get big. Then you're going to go and achieve big things. That is the most important thing. You know, we don't achieve big things by accident. So shoot for the top, shoot for the sky.
When you are struggling and you start thinking about giving up, I want you to remember the power of hope. The belief that something better is always possible if you're willing to work for it and fight for it. Our hope that if we work hard enough and believe in ourselves, then we can be whatever we dream. The hope that when people see us for who we truly are, maybe, just maybe, they too will be inspired to rise to their best possible selves.
During this storm and you're down on your knees and you're cold and you're weak and you feel like this is the end. You have a choice to either give up or keep going. Give up or get up. You just take one step at a time. When you fail, try again and again and again.
I woke up one day and stopped making excuses. I woke up one day and stopped playing the blame game. I woke up one day and looked at the man in the mirror and was like, yo, bro, what are you doing? Wake up. It's showtime. Let's go.
You know, everything happens for a reason, and there's a story to everything. And if you take time to realize, you know, what your dream is and what you really want in life, no matter what it is, whether it's sports, whether it's in other fields, you have to realize that there's always work to do, and you want to be the hardest working person in whatever you do, and you'll put yourself in position to be successful. And you have to have a passion about what you do.
Seize the day. The opportunities are there, but you got to reach out and pick them up. You've got to grab at it. Don't be afraid to make a mistake, because you know what you can do if you grab the wrong one? Drop it and pick up another one. It's okay. Seize the day.
You get to a point where you don't count it. You just do whatever it takes to get whatever you want.
This life that we live, it's a privilege. And when I really started to take that in, I felt this tremendous urge to do something with my life.
Until you say, yeah, I'm going to take action. Nothing changes if nothing changes, man. I just want to remind you, because, I've spent a lot of time in my life sitting around wanting things to change and not being able to make them change and not thinking I could. And I wish somebody had told me that earlier sometimes, that in order for something to change, there needs to be change.
It's all in your mind. Whatever you hold in your mind will tend to occur in your life. If you continue to believe as you have always believed, you will continue to act as you have always acted. You will continue to get what you have always gotten. If you want different results in your life or your work, all you have to do is change your mind.
And I want to be clear that your intuition is different from your conscience. They work in tandem, but here's the distinction. Your conscience shouts, here's what you should do, while your intuition whispers, here's what you could do. Listen to that voice that tells you what you could do.
Nothing will define your character more than that.
Man, life's short. Go harder than you did last year. Whatever you thought you did, it wasn't enough. And enjoy it even more.
Believe that.
Go harder and find a way to enjoy it. That's when you master that. Push yourself them extra reps. Go harder. Have that extra 2 meetings that day and find a way to enjoy it.
I want to be something more than Shaq. See, the Shaq guy's going to fade away because you got Steph Curry and all these guys stepping up. The Shaq guy will fade away at some point in time. But Dr. Shaquille O'Neal will be around forever and ever.
Don't be afraid to fail. Because if you're afraid to fail, then you're always holding yourself back because you're afraid that if you go all out, you may fail.
I invested too much to quit. I made too many sacrifices to give up. We've come too far to give up now. We've come too far to be negative now. We've come too far to start overthinking now.
Stop waiting for life to be easy. Stop hoping for somebody to save you. You don't need another person lying to you. Things don't all add up. But you're resilient. Face some hard facts and you could have an incredible life.
There are people in this world who will try to make you believe that they are better than you, that they can win at your expense. Rage is the tool we use to look those people in the eye and prove them wrong.
Sometimes you need to get knocked down before you can really figure out what your fight is and how you need to fight it. Sometimes you need to feel the pain and sting of defeat to activate the real passion and purpose that God predestined inside of you.
For somebody going through tough times. For somebody struggling just to keep your head above water. You're trying, but things don't seem to be quite working out the way you planned. You thought you'd be in a different place at this season in your life. But you're still suffering. You need dirt on you to develop, because dirt ain't just dirt. Dirt is fertilizer. Dirt is nutrient. Dirt gives you the strength for your seed to push through. You got to have dirt on you to push through something. Everything you see that's beautiful starts out as a seed, but that seed got to get dirt on it. You got to have dirt on you to grow into what life got for you.
You can't stop because you're tired. You can't stop because you got your feelings hurt. You got to take another lap. Keep walking. Keep walking. Keep walking. You're going to make it. You're going to do it. You got an unstoppable fire. Come on, take another lap. Don't you stop. Don't stop walking. It's really hard to be led by your butt. But I'm not qualified. But I'm not good enough. But I'm not smart enough. But I didn't go to the right school. But I don't have enough money. But, if you're ever going to step into your future, if you're ever going to step into your destiny, you're going to have to get over your butt.
Do I just sit there and settle? No, I don't. I say enough's enough, man, and I'm going to make a change, and I'm going to keep going until I get it. You chase something that you believe you deserve until you get it. And it doesn't matter what happens to you. It doesn't matter how many times you get fired. It doesn't matter how many people don't believe in you. Just go until you get it. That's the point. Are you tired yet? Some of you need to get tired. You need to be tired of what's going on in your life. Get tired of your habits. Get tired of the actions that you're putting in every day. You got to change, man, or nothing changes.
See, most people, ladies and gentlemen, are stoppable. Most people, all you have to do is tell them no. All you have to do is make it inconvenient for them. All you have to do is make it difficult for them, and they'll stop. See, when you go to get your goal, don't think that all you have to do is think positive and everything's going to work out okie dokie for you. When you go to get your goal, you are sending a telegram to Murphy's Law to visit you personally.
And that's what a pity party is when you have an undisciplined mind and you meditate on the wrong thing over and over and over again. If you're going to throw a pity party, I'll give you 3 days and that's it. And after 3 days, you cut off your record player, your iPod, your MP3, and you come up with a plan. You thought you was just going to have a dream and a goal, and you was just going to wake up and just walk into the sunset. You're like, dream, move. It don't work like that. You have a dream, and then life prompts you. Life prompts you and say, do you really want this? And so I'm telling y'all, you have come too far to quit now. You have invested too much to quit now. You have lost too much to quit now. Don't cry about it. Don't whine about it. Get a reward for your pain. When you hang around average people, all they're going to do is tell you what they can't do. And that's okay that they can't do it, but that has absolutely nothing to do with us.
We can do whatever we believe we can do, and we don't need anybody's permission to do it but ours.